Conference will now be recorded.
Okay, additional discussion.
Well, now since recording, I just want it stated on the record because last time, again, I had made it very clear of what the 6,000 square foot was. It was told that it was retail space only. In this local law that's being proposed, it says it's all floor space, including exterior space for sale and storage of merchandise. So, for example, if it was little supermarket, even the area where they put their Christmas trees in the fall and winter time, that area would be considered space. So when we reduced it from 6,000 or from 8,000 to 6,000 at the last meeting, I don't feel that the public was informed correctly, and we're proceeding forward. And I just want to make sure the public is aware of this change, because that's not what was indicated at the last meeting. This is not what was presented at the public hearings, because at that point it was 8,000 square feet. So I just want to go on record stating that these are the changes, and this is different than what's been discussed previously.
Thank you. And for the record, little supermarket, the exterior of it is 4,200. So it would still be well below the 6,000. And as I said, I think at the last meeting, I think that over the past 15 years, the issue has been that our codes are applied too loosely, not that they're applied too rigorously. And this is an attempt for our codes to be applied a little more rigorously. But if there's if a Christmas tree display, I don't think Doug or the board or the planning board is going to be shutting down a shop over their Christmas tree display if it goes 50 or 100 or 500 feet over this number. And with that, I'll open it up to my colleagues.
Can I ask Dawn a question?
Yeah.
So this line, obviously, based on the discussion, is now sort of. Do
Will
we
be
need to,
usable.
right, do we
and
need to
that's-
do anything to adjust that? Do
Well,
we need to acknowledge that, like, this is incorrect?
That is the way I interpreted the meeting. Yes, I'm gonna have to change that in minutes. If, when I look at the tape, that's what this
Okay, I see, you're
decided.
gonna go back.
Because myself, I thought that you even mentioned calling the lawyer to make sure that we could take that out without another public hearing.
I did.
And,
And
okay,
he-
then why
he-
isn't it out?
No, I mentioned calling the lawyer to ask if we could lower the 8,000 to 6,000 without another public hearing. And he did say we could do that.
I'm gonna have to tear the tape apart. I got the transcript on my computer in the other room already. I downloaded it. Something made me do it. And, well, I'll have to look, because I, like Darren, thought that that was coming out of there. And my minutes reflect that.
Okay.
Darren.
Just a small
We let some
comment
other people talk. Go ahead.
of what you just said about little supermarket. The 4,200 square feet is the footprint of the building. Again, if they sell something in the parking lot, according to this, that now becomes part of it. So we could have literally a 2,000 square foot building, and let's just say they want to sell bikes or canoes or kayaks in their parking lot, and all of a sudden now they're over 6,000 square feet because they have a display of kayaks and canoes in their parking lot. This really shrinks even when you're including exterior space. This is not what was discussed at the last meeting.
I do remember him asking the question about offices that they had upstairs or wherever at the little supermarket, and if I recall right, it said it didn't really include that space in the 6,000 feet.
Correct.
Right, but the thing, C says it does.
No, I know it. But that's what I remember hearing at that meeting.
Yeah.
Well, I think, I don't have the former one in front of me, but I don't think C changed at all. Like C was
It did
already
not.
in there last time. It was just that there was some inaccuracy in how it was represented, I think, at the last meeting. So, I mean, is there other action we want to do just to make sure the public understands where we're at?
I suggest that we table this until I look at the transcript.
No. No.
If it's not right, I'm gonna have.
Why wouldn't it be right?
We have
We've-
to approve the minutes, and nothing that was said at that last meeting would have affected any of the public hearing discussion that we've had for.
Because she's basically saying when she wrote the minutes last time, she wrote it as 6,000 square foot of retail
When we
space
changed
only.
it, yes, when we changed it.
Because I asked
guys
for
all
it be
have
put that way
minutes.
in the minutes for a
Hannah's
reason.
already made some notes where you can see
Right,
the way.
But we
I
haven't,
interpret it.
right, we have not approved those minutes yet.
Right, I mean, that's fine.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, we have the tape to double check to see if what was said, or whether,
I'm not
To figure out what
disputing
went
that
on.
what was said, but that meeting was it was chaotic, and that was not the public hearing. The public hearing was finished. That was a discussion, it was a meandering, aimless public discussion.
We
It doesn't,
voted on it.
legally, it doesn't affect,
okay. Right
legally, it
here,
doesn't affect anything.
motion made to send the proposed changes, and it was that one too, to the lawyer.
Okay,
Okay, if you guys could just look at that. Huh? Yeah. Thank you. And I think the transcript is gonna back that up.
I'm not disputing that either. I just think that that is legally immaterial. However, I'll stop there and I'll open the floor for more discussion.
I said my piece, and I think it was very misrepresented.
I don't disagree that it was inaccurately represented. That was not a public hearing. That
But
was
we
a,
voted on changing it from 8,000 to
You made a
6,000.
resolution to change it.
Does it change your opinion
Absolutely.
from,
I would have made a bigger case on it because I said at that meeting on the record, I'll go along with it. I didn't vote for it in the end because it wasn't separated out the way I asked, but I went along with it and I said, I'll go along with it if it's retail space only. And I said that on the record. I would have never said that if it was total, including exterior.
you don't think exterior storage, exterior,
In offices and storage
I don't
space,
think this
and
says-
exterior, no.
it is important that we do have an opinion from our code enforcement officer that the understanding that I conveyed at the last meeting was correct for whatever that's worth.
If that's what you conveyed, then it's exactly what I'm saying. And it did not include offices and exterior space.
That is our code enforcement officer's understanding.
Well, then why is C in here?
To answer that probably too candidly, because it was in the previous North Elba code from which I copied and pasted this code, or this proposed amendment. So this was in their code, and that's why it's in our code. Or that's why we're discussing it. What's that?
You made a motion to remove it.
One option we could do is go back to 8,000. That's one option.
I would go along with that.
What are your thoughts on that, Dan?
It's definitely an improvement over 6,000, because like I said, I wouldn't have ever agreed with it if it was including everything.
Would you agree with it as written if it was changed back to 8,000 then?
Because that's what was presented to the public.
May I interrupt?
No.
No, sorry, Carl. Laura, do you have anything to say?
I feel badly that yeah, I do. This could have just been, it's just, how clearly that the last meeting just sent everything into a tizzy. And unfortunately, this is the fallout from it. I definitely see your side, Darren. I see Tim's side. I see, we've definitely been speaking about this, and, I think that's when you talk about something so many times and so many, for so long, and you have so many opinions, everything gets muddied, and, it's unfortunate, but I'm fine. I would be fine if the board is willing to, come together on the 8th. That would be acceptable on my end.
Okay, can I have a motion to change the 6,000 square feet to 8,000 square feet in this proposed local law?
Make it.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Carries.
Roll call vote.
Okay,
Hannah? Tim,
yes.
Darren,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
Randy.
Yes.
Okay, back to the original discussion. Having rectified that possible issue, is there anything that any of the board members would like to say about this proposed local law? Okay. One possibility is we could vote on sections. Darren, if there's any of these that you would support, we can vote on sections 3, 4, 5, 6. We can vote on them individually if you want to vote for any of these.
That's changing the main character of the local law. If we take sections out.
That's how we voted on the STR law. We voted on it section by section. We had a motion to separate, but perhaps it's just making everything too confusing, and we should just keep it as an up or down vote. You're probably right, and rather than going down another rabbit hole, let's just do it as cleanly as
Right,
possible.
because some of the stuff I've learned since then says that if you take a whole section out, not just a sentence, you have to start over again.
But I'm not talking about taking it out, I'm just talking about voting on them separately. But I think the point is moot, and we'll vote on the whole thing.
Okay.
Okay, so roll call vote.
Okay, Hannah, yes. Tim,
Yes.
Darren,
No.
Laura,
Yes.
Randy.
Yes.
Again, no standing ovation. It's a milestone. This is the first time we've tightened our zoning code in a long time. And it's been a long time coming. Okay. Agenda item 3A. Is there a motion on agenda item 3A?
I'll make it.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion. For the board and the public, we've talked about this in the local law we just approved. This is a state requirement. This is the start of what you witnessed half an hour ago, the end of the negative declaration pursuant to the State Environmental Quality Review Act. This resolution defines the town as the lead agency for the review required by the Environmental Quality Review Act. Hearing any further discussion? Hearing no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You want to do this roll call?
That's just, Darren was right. It's or it's called.
So all,
Yes.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. May I have a motion on agenda item 3B?
Make it.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, discussion? Anyone have anything they'd like to say?
This is just setting the public hearing, correct?
Correct. I have something to say, which is, this has changed since the last time we discussed it. The last time we discussed this, This draft of this proposed local law had requirements related to site plan review and visual screening for new manufactured homes. Those requirements have been deleted, and we'll see what the public has to say. It didn't seem like we were getting a lot of enthusiasm for those sections, so I took them out. If the public really wants them in, we can definitely consider adding them again. I did want to mention actually that, so this local law makes it much more feasible to add additional housing stock of manufactured homes to the town. Because our current code requires manufactured homes to be on 3 acres, but the zoning in the hamlet is 1 acre. I believe the zoning in one part of the hamlet is 1 acre. Is the zoning in the other part of the hamlet half an acre, or?
Existing lots that are already there.
But I think it is half an acre. Yeah, when it was redone, it was decreased to half. And then in the moderate intensity zoning district, it's also an acre. The minimum lot size is an acre. So if your lot size is in accord with the minimum lot size in our code, you're prohibited from living in or adding a manufactured home to that property under our current code. I did want to mention that there was a lot of discussion at the meeting yesterday with Essex County Land Bank about what they call cross mods, which it sounds like it's half a modular home and half a manufactured home, what we would consider a manufactured home. But it looks visually it's indistinguishable from a modular home. That's all I have to say.
Would anybody kill me if we close the door? I gotta go get a jacket or something.
That's it. It's fine.
If anybody else is hot, please, I'm only one person.
I'm a little cold.
You are? Okay. Sorry. Thank you.
So the purpose of this proposed local law zoning code amendment is to make housing more accessible in Wilmington. That's the purpose of what we're discussing and what we're moving forward on. This is to set a public hearing on that at 6 p.m. on Wednesday, March 25th. So further discussion. Hearing none, roll call vote.
Hannah,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Darren,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
Randy.
Yes.
Great. Okay, agenda item 4A. May I have a motion on agenda item 4A?
Let me get.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
This again is the State Environmental Quality Review Act declaring the town board the lead agency. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Opposed? Carries. May I have a motion on agenda item 4B?
Make it.
Is there a second?
One second.
Discussion. Would you like to field this one? Would anyone else like to explain this?
Sure.
I can if you want.
Sure. So when our original town of Wilmington zoning ordinance was adopted, it's 2013. And I think it was Doug, I can't remember who stated that it was, but essentially forestry less than and greater than 50 acres were flipped. So your requirements to do forestry on either side of that 50 acres was not requiring the correct standards. So moving forward, we're just changing that to what it was intentionally proposed to be, and based upon the requirements for hamlet, moderate intensity, low intensity, rural use and resource management, just making sure everything is where that it should be, where it was intentionally or initially meant to be.
Thank you. And this is setting the public hearing on this local law immediately following the public hearing on local law 2. So that will be March 25th, sometime after 6 p.m. Additional discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, agenda item 5 is just discussion. And since I'm the one who put this on the agenda, I'll start the discussion. The comprehensive plan committee, the meetings have been very good, very productive. Progress has been made, and progress will continue to be made. I've been impressed at those meetings. The same, I think it's been effective for the Homestead Housing Board. I think it's been good.
Yeah.
So my proposal is, since these committees seem to be working well, would be to see if there's public interest in creating a committee to address the sediment accumulation in the river. Possibly members of the public, townspeople who are motivated about this, or particularly motivated about this. I think everyone realizes it's a problem, but if people want to step to the fore and take the lead on this, I think it would be helpful. And we'll see if anyone wants to, if the board wants to create this committee. So that's my thought.
Do you know of anybody?
I might know one person. Yeah. Well, I know people who are very concerned about it and who identify it as their foremost concern. One of them definitely is someone who has been willing to be on committees in the past.
Oh.
So.
Yeah, it's definitely a long-standing problem. I mean, it definitely needs attention. I mean, whether it gets done or not, but it should be looked into for sure. If there's any grants available that would help or anything like that, it would be good.
I did want to mention for the board and the public, at the conference in New York, I went to, one of the lectures was a man who was, he actually has close ties to Wilmington and he's a Lake Placid resident. He was very high ranking in the Pataki administration. And one of the points he's made is that you don't necessarily need to wait for grants. The governors do have discretionary money in their budgets that they can spend on projects that they feel are particularly important. We have a state senator who's born and raised in Wilmington. And as I believe the Ausable River is important to him, our assemblyman is coming on Friday. So possibly if they're motivated to address this, and if we can bend the governor's ear, possibly we could address it more quickly. But applying for grants, whatever we can do. So everyone's in favor of creating that committee? No, does anyone have anything else to say? Okay, I'll write up a formal resolution for the work session meeting on the 25th. Okay, this is another discussion item, agenda item 6. I think I will make the possibly foolish decision to open this up to the public a bit. I said last year that I want to figure out a way to take some kind of vote on what the town, the citizens want us to focus on, both problems and public works projects. And so we've heard a lot of problems and we have a lot of ideas for public works projects. First, for the board, as far as assessing the community's priorities, we could do an actual physical ranked choice vote We could do it through a mail survey. I'm sure there are other ways we could do it. So I'd just like to open it up to board discussion and see what the rest of the board thinks.
If you do the survey, are you gonna be disseminating all that information, organizing, creating a report? Who's gonna do the legwork?
I would think, well, yes, I would think that, well, before anything was sent, the board would approve it.
Mhm.
Yes, it would come out of this office, definitely. It would come out of this building. I think it would be written probably pretty collaboratively. We definitely have done surveys in the past. So we have a start and a template possibly, if we want to go forward with a survey instead of an actual physical vote.
I did like the J open house for their comprehensive plan. They had people come in to the town, or it was to the school, but they had people, there were sticky notes and you could come and put things in an area where that you wanted to have, where you thought that there could be change or what your thoughts were, things that you thought were a priority. And it was, it allowed discussion as well as, them to get their feelings on paper. So I think that probably would be cost effective rather than a mailer, and it would allow for people to mingle and discuss.
I think that's good and is positive and got a good idea as far as gathering information to put on the survey. But the point is, we know that dredging the river is a problem, right? The sediment, we know that. We know that there are definitely people who want a skating pavilion built. We know that there are definitely people who want additional bike lanes. Basically, the loop finished on Route 86. Dog park is an idea we've heard. Solar field on at the former dump is an idea. Investigating generating electricity, using the dam to generate electricity. These are some of the public projects that people have discussed or brought to us. But I would like, is the skating pavilion what people really want, or are, do 7 times more want a dog park? That's what I want.
Okay, gotcha. Sorry.
So yes, I there has to be a way to gather ideas, but I also want to know, like, basically what is the town's priority? So survey seems like is the less further discussion. Okay, Darren? Okay.
Yeah, or people want to, however they want to feed us their information.
Okay. At this point, I would, with the permission of the rest of the board, think about opening it to the public and see what ideas they have for problems and priorities.
Yeah.
So just raise your, if that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Just raise your hands if you have any ideas for, I stated several ideas for public projects, but if you have other ideas, we'd love to hear them. The same with problems, property taxes, we're aware of. Housing shortage, we're aware it's a problem. Speeding on rural roads, very aware that that's a problem. But other problems that you want us to know about, if you would like us to know about anything, please just raise your hand. Pat?
Transportation for senior citizens and the youth in the summertime for the camp.
Would you say like senior and youth programming?
Yeah.
Thank you. Steve?
This appears to be a survey that should be done at your comprehensive plan meetings, not at a town board meeting.
We're not taking a survey on, it's ideas for what to put on the survey.
Should still be done at a comprehensive plan. That's the appropriate place for it. And that's how you get your information together for that.
Okay. Your report's taken. Other ideas? Nancy, please.
I think the survey is a great idea. I thought it was before, earlier, and I'm just sorry that more people didn't send in their responses because it's just a wonderful way to find out what people want, what they can say what they don't like. If they want, they could, it's just open to say whatever they want. And it's how are you going to look at the number of people here as compared to the number of people in this town? Well, they don't want to come to meetings, okay, but fill out the darn survey. The rest of us spent so much time getting out into the mail for them. Just put something. And some people have wonderful ideas and lots of comments, and that was so nice to read.
I have a question. Was the survey sent to everybody in town? No.
This is going down a really negative rabbit hole. I will say on a positive, to keep this in a positive vein,
I didn't get one.
to keep this, trying to stay positive, right? Rather than just bickering. It is very positive. Another town, they were kind of trumpeting the fact that they got 18% of their surveys, 18% of the people who received them responded. Our response rate was closer to 30. Yeah, I think we had an excellent response rate and shows that people.
I'd like to see 80.
You'd like to see 80?
I'd like to see 80.
I echo
Yes.
that.
And also, right now, this is completely different from when you were campaigning and those of us who stood behind you helping you out. This is entirely different. If you bring this up at a town board meeting, of course it would have to go to every single household in the town.
Yes.
That's a given. I mean, that's not even that's a silly.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Nancy. Joyce?
What about putting a survey out on like your webpage? Having that same survey on the webpage, so if people want to go to because there's lots of people that are, web savvy that could do it online versus doing it on paper and sending out a stamp address.
She's not talking about us.
Yeah, I wouldn't certainly do it, but I think surveys online, how many surveys do you get in your email?
But
Can you
that's,
do a
but
survey?
that's to assume that most people use computers now. There's still a lot of people.
No, I'm not, Nancy, I'm not saying that they shouldn't, but maybe if they did both, then if the person doesn't want to put a stamp on an envelope, they don't have to, they can do it online.
But you need to know that there's a survey.
Right.
I had no idea there was a survey.
This was several years ago. We're dredging up ancient history.
So why
Pat,
don't we do
please.
it currently?
I'm sorry?
Why don't we do it currently?
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, I know. So why are we talking about the past? Why don't we talk about
I
what
didn't
we are
bring it
gonna
up.
do as opposed to it wasn't done?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks. Pat?
This isn't a broad survey you're talking about. This is ranking what we want done,
Yes.
not all our opinions about everything in town. That is something that the comprehensive planning board plans on doing.
Thank you. Good point. Thanks.
I don't see why it can't be, just a singular activity. We can glean information from, maybe some people aren't even aware of the initial survey that we're doing for the town board side, and then we end up doing more at the comprehensive planning, side of the survey. So, I don't see why we couldn't do it at both.
The more, the better.
Yeah.
And there are different ways to, we can send it to all registered voters. We can send it to all people who voted in the last town election. We can send it to all property owners. There's a lot of different ways we can send it every door direct mail. That's probably the cheapest and easiest, but there's a lot of different ways to decide who to send it to. And in every way, some people will be lost, right? Some people didn't vote. Some people who vote are not property owners. Some people don't. Every door direct mail, they won't get it. So no way is going to be perfect, I suspect. But if anyone has an idea for a perfect way, I'm all ears. George, please.
How about everyone that has a mailing address? Or in Wilmington?
That's another way.
I mean, if you live here, get a survey.
Make a comment, Tim.
Please.
The survey is great, and I like what George is saying is at least it's going to people that you know are here. The problem with a web-based is you don't know who's filling it out. So we could be having people from Plattsburgh filling out a survey from Wilmington. So unless the survey is going to be thrown out until they put their name in it, then we got to have some way of verifying it is actually a person from Wilmington.
I do get that.
I know that there's ways to put restrictions on like the IP address for a survey, like you can only fill it out one time from this IP address, so, but I mean, I don't know how comfortable people would feel about having it anonymous versus,
So that's what I'm saying. We
Yeah.
just got to make sure it
No,
goes to
I think it's
Wilmington
something to
people.
think about, yeah, no.
This one shouldn't be controversial. I mean, people shouldn't have trepidation about having their name tied to it because it's just saying, what do you think is the most important project?
Exactly.
And, right. What are your top 3 biggest issues that you see in town? But people have trepidation about a lot of things that.
Yeah, I think it's great asking their opinions and, getting their word out, so, good.
Other ideas for things that could be put on the survey? Okay.
I'd like to say, don't overemphasize the high priority things and dismiss things that become low hanging fruit. Like things that you can resolve easily, like a senior thing you're talking about, right? While you're trying to dredge a river.
Thank you.
Jim?
Bill.
One thing that's a real pet peeve of mine is somebody that puts the used toilet out by the side of the road, that sits there for a month, or maybe the mattress or the discarded sofa. I mean, I'm not really sure who wants a mattress after it's been sitting out in the rain for 2 months. I mean, I'm not really sure why we even allow that to happen. I was told, I'm talking, thank you. I was told that we can't do anything about that because we don't have like a junk ordinance. I'm just not sure why we don't. I mean, we're so worried about screening manufactured homes, but we'll allow a toilet or a mattress to sit on the side of the road for 2 months.
Piano.
A piano, or whatever. I'm just not sure why we allow that to happen. In a town that's so worried about how we care how we look, we'll leave that crap sitting on the side of the road for months. That's all I got.
Thank you. What now? What would we call that? Just junk on roadside?
Well, we have to take the common sense thing out of it, because obviously people don't have common sense, or they wouldn't leave a piano sitting out by the side of the road for 2 years, or a mattress, or whatever, so.
The toilet I was gonna plant flowers in, and I'm just joking.
I mean, that's all I'm gonna say about it. I mean, obviously, everybody knows, it appears to be a common thing that everybody doesn't like. I don't know what the answer is, but maybe figure out.
Well, if people really do think it's if people think that it's something the board should focus on, then we can focus on it. And Wilmington is not the first town that's had most of these problems. So that legal language does exist. We just maybe haven't adopted it. So.
Put it on your survey.
Yes. Junk on roadside. Thank you, Bill. All right. I think that's, unless any, going once, going twice, 3 times. Okay. Agenda item 7. They have a motion on agenda item 7.
Make it.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion. This is a standard contract we pass every year. It usually, there's no conversation really about it annually. I have read it. It's very nondescript and typical and unobjectionable. I wouldn't think anyone would object to any of it. It's just basically agreeing that the Board of Elections can use this room for elections. And there's, we shall provide light, heat, etc. We'll let them in here in advance of election day. We'll notify them of any possible conflicts. It's pretty mild, normal contract. Additional discussion?
Looks like they changed the hours of voting from 5 to 10 PM. 5 AM to 10 PM, wasn't it 6 AM to 9 PM?
What it is I believe that that means that the election inspectors and election workers can.
That was 5:30,
They need more time.
I guess.
They need more time this year.
You want to unlock the building this year?
I guess I'm gonna be whether I want to or not.
What's the date? I'm up at 5, so.
June 23rd and November 3rd.
I'll make it.
Second?
Didn't we already do that?
We did that. So
However,
just vote.
I just
We're just gonna vote.
move forward, however.
Okay. Yes, we'll just vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. This is okay, agenda item 8. We have received, as I mentioned, I'm almost positive I mentioned this previously. Due to New York State changing its law and collecting sales tax on vacation rental stays, reservations, sales tax, half of the state gets half of sales tax revenue and the county gets roughly half of the sales tax revenue. So the county has had somewhat of a windfall of new revenue. And what the, I guess, county manager and the Board of Supervisors have decided to do with some of this money is distribute it to the towns for EMS service, or for their emergency services. We did get drafts of the contracts. They had mistakes. They're pretty lengthy contracts, and I'll distribute them to everyone on the town board as well as to the fire department. I have given the fire department basically a little write-up about the gist of this new money that Wilmington and our emergency services providers will be receiving. It's going to be, I believe, $100,000 for Wilmington. The only bad part is that there's a giant mass of new paperwork that's going to be required of the town. It was kind of shocking, the amount of additional paperwork we're going to have to fill out to receive this money. That's everything I have to say. I'll distribute this in advance of the work session, or in advance of the next regular meeting, or in advance of the next meeting. We're not supposed to call it a work session. We're just supposed to call it a meeting. So
Work session / meeting. That way you can make resolutions.
I'm just calling them meetings.
Okay, that'll work too.
We're just, yeah.
We're
So
meeting.
We're gonna meet, and we may vote on these contracts. Does anyone have any questions or anything?
That's great.
Yep. Okay. I suppose we'll do this agenda item 9. Since we do have a formal resolution, I think we'll do it formally, where we have a motion and a second, and then we'll get into discussing it. And any changes people want to make, we can make. So may I have a motion on agenda item 9? Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Discussion. I guess I'll start mostly for the public. The board has, I believe, heard this before. There's a lot for people who were at our meeting last February, our regular monthly meeting last February. Our Parks Department is a lot of additional work has been put on our Parks Department, and expectations have been put on our Parks Department over the years. Yet their staff has stayed very similar, and in some ways, you could say their help has decreased. So consequently, there's a lot of deferred maintenance. There's a lot of things that should have probably been done in previous years. Definitely some of these things should have been done in previous years, but they are just put on the back burner for one reason or another, and we are trying to address them now. Further discussion.
Yeah, when I met with John, well, I actually met with John twice, but I met with him. One of the things that he had mentioned was that previously we'd gotten quotes to seal the basketball court and the
Tennis court.
yep, exactly. Have those sealed, and he said that he envisions it being something that they can do with a pressure washer and then some rubberized surface thing that you can tint. So you can do different colors on them and paint new lines. So he was looking to see if the board would approve that in lieu of that previous quote that I don't even know if we ever voted on it, but it was something.
We did vote on it and nothing was done.
Yeah. So this wouldn't be duplicative, but it would also just allow us to have it in-house rather than paying for somebody else to do it. And it's something that he seems to be, excited about. And then the other thing that he mentioned was this, at the parking lot at the town beach, he said that the stripes for the handicap parking are we need more handicap parking. Also, when I spoke to him about it, he said that having the beach staff not park close to the beach and having them park farther away will allow for more accessibility and he also wanted to have like a small people with small children or a pregnant person parking spot so that there are, not so handicapped and then people with small families, just so that they're not carting things through, from way at the end of the parking lot. If that would be a possibility, he said that would be something to look into. I didn't talk to him about the gazebo, but I did talk to him further down when I spoke with him and Louie about the putting up the banners and using the bucket truck. He and Louie both agreed that a leaf vacuum would be something that they could both utilize in their departments, and the funds could be split in some way or another. So that was good to see. I'll let you talk about the parks truck and then the other quotes and things.
Okay. So I did ask our park superintendent. We're aware that he also our parks department needs a new tractor. We definitely are aware of that. Not only is it out of date and there are faster, a new tractor would allow our parks department to accomplish a lot more. It's also just old and it's going to break more, going to take more time to service. It'll be out of service more as the years go on. So I'm definitely aware of that. So I asked him the leaf vacuum, the truck, or the tractor, like what's the most important? What's the most urgent? And he said leaf vacuum and truck. So that I have a large amount of confidence in our park superintendent, and if he believes that that's the most important, he certainly knows more about it than I do. So the truck, I'm not sure how old it is. I asked him if he could come to one of these meetings to explain to the board why our parks department needs a new truck. And he said, anyone who looks at that truck will know that we need a new truck. And I did look at it, and you can visually, you just have to look at it. There is also, yeah, I suppose I'll leave it at there for, I think we've known for several years that we are going to have to purchase a new Parks Department truck. Darren's bringing it up for several years. We have reestablished our Parks Truck Fund. It's not particularly well funded, but at least it's something, at least it exists. The gazebo, again, that's something that our park superintendent has brought up to me for several months at least, as either we need to repair this or we need to take it out because it's becoming an eyesore and it needs to be addressed. So he believes that it can be addressed for $500, and I hope he's correct about that. The numbers in here are from him. The leaf vacuum, I know we got 2 quotes, and one was quite a bit less than the other. And I distributed them, both of them. I'm almost positive I distributed both of them to the board. This is the lesser.
This one is,
Thank you.
they're different engines. The gas, the one that's from Taylor Rental is carburetor style, and it uses, well, we're hoping to only use non-ethanol gas with it. It does include a source well discount, which puts the price around $13,000. The other one is for a fuel injection motor, and they're very similar. They would essentially do the same thing. That one is through Parkside. It does not, it's called the Billy Goat. It does not include Sourcewell discount. I called Steve today, but it does have municipal pricing, and it's the bottom line price. It includes a commercial 1-year warranty, and that one's $21,000. So when I spoke to John and Louie, the price difference is significant, and I understand the fuel injection versus carburetor. I get all that, and they were talking to me about the fact that they do utilize, or have a need to utilize gas that doesn't have ethanol in it, and when we first were discussing this, we were talking about possibly looking into seeing if we could get a tank out of the highway garage to see if we could talk to our supplier of fuel to see if they would put something out there that we could put this non-ethanol gas in, so we can use it for snow blowers and anything that requires gasoline, so we're not gumming up the carburetors. But that I guess was too cost prohibitive. So they also said that they could just get 5 gallons at a clip from Devon's or from Stewart's and just go with that, or put something like one of the trucks has a storage tank on the back of the truck that they could utilize for the equipment. So that's the background of this and a little bit more information than you have on paper.
Thank you. Did he say which they would prefer?
He couldn't justify a $7,000 price difference. And yes, of course, the fuel injection would be easier and more dependable based upon, it's not, in the spring, it probably would be easier for them to get it going, or in the fall for whatever equipment that is, that kind of thing. But because they're going to use it for the Parks Department for cleanup for the leaves, and then the highway department would use it for the culverts and turning that stuff into mulch. But yeah, he said based upon the discount, I guess this is only me talking to John, because I checked with Parkside today, so that's that opinion. And I guess you talked to
I talked
Louie.
to John and Lou today, but I somehow didn't ask them which one they would prefer. So I don't have any information about that.
Okay.
Just before we open it up to the rest of the board, I suppose I'll say that we have unspent occupancy tax money from previous years, and that is what we will be using for these purchases, not property tax money. And we did have a budget surplus in 2025. So a significant, quite significant, roughly 5% of the annual budget is budget surplus.
We don't know that for sure yet.
Okay. Okay. When will we know that for sure?
I told you I have to do the AFR before I know that for firm.
It's such a large number that if it's off by 20 or 30,000, it's still going to be a large number. If it's off by 60,000, it's
Just
still.
want you to be aware that that may not be your final number.
I mean, I lowballed it in here. I definitely am aware of it. I know that the number that I came up with by doing the math
Okay,
almost certainly will not be the final number. However, that number is so large that it would be pretty shocking if there was not a significant budget surplus.
we can't put a number in a resolution that we don't, isn't the number.
So
So
just,
what I suggest is to take the part that says approximately the amount of the surplus and just state you're going to use surplus for this.
thank you.
Is there any thought on the lifespan?
Yeah.
One versus the other?
No, I did ask him about lifespan. He said, if it's well maintained, these things can last 10, 15 years. That's what he said.
Either.
Yes. Well, no, I don't, we weren't just, I was discussing and that was with Louis and John. I was just discussing, because I was like, if this is going to help cut down on labor, this cost spread out over a certain number of years. I mean, it is a small amount of cost. Yes, it's upfront, but it would cut down on quite a bit of labor for those types of activities, which are pretty cumbersome. I guess they're using a bucket and putting it into the truck at the moment. So, but both of them, I think they hashed it out. Don't quote me. I believe it was around 15 years that they both were talking about.
Thank you.
Yep.
Does anyone else have anything to say? Please.
I'm not gonna take direct comment on the Billy Ego or the Skag truck loader. I did bring that up at the last meeting and said that it was a good idea because I thought it could save a lot of time in the cemeteries, but due to possible conflict of interest, I'm not gonna say anything else on that. I just want to clarify a couple things. One, at this point, it's not proper to say unallocated occupancy tax funds, especially back all the way to 2021. We've been made aware that after those funds are no longer spent, they become part of general fund surplus. So they are no longer occupancy tax funds. They are now general fund surplus. I just want to make that aware.
I don't completely agree with that, but go on.
That's what we've been told, and that was straight from Essex County on how things, and OSC on how that works. As far as the truck, I just want to clarify a couple things on that too. John's truck is himself. That truck is fine. It's their secondary truck that's in bad shape that needs to be replacing. So I'm assuming John's truck would be passed down to Ashton and the park employees. John would get the new truck. I know there was talk last time about Doug receiving a truck. That truck that's the parks are using as their secondary truck now is almost at the end of its usable life. So I wouldn't count on that. For Doug using any truck, it should probably just be retired at this point because it's in that bad a condition. And then
I told Ashton I would drive it to Elizabethtown, and he said, "You're not going to want to drive that to Elizabethtown."
exactly. And then the last thing, you guys have brought it up multiple times. John's brought it up multiple times of how big John's job is and how much time is and how we're adding this to his schedule and that to his schedule. But yet, like, he offers to seal the basketball courts and add more to his schedule. I feel like sometimes John is a great employee and great park superintendent, but I feel like sometimes he's his own worst evil because he takes on projects, and that's part of the reason why his time gets shorter and shorter. Like we had, somebody hired and we're scheduled to do this, and now we're not going to hire somebody, and now John's going to add this to his schedule, which is already short up time. And so I just, sometimes I'm really confused of like, he's short of time, but yeah, let's add another project.
I can address
So.
that. I can address that. As you're saying, this is John's preference to do it this way. And the reason it's his preference to do the rubberized seal coat of the basketball court is he thinks it will be much better. And I understand where he's coming from. It's not, if I were in John's shoes, it wouldn't be the choice I would make, but I'm respecting his expertise. So this is his preference to do it this way. He says it will look better and be better. I'm sure that's true. That's all I'll say. That's all. As far as the occupancy tax, my understanding is maybe a little different. It is definitely kind of hazy, but whether like legally, whatever the answer is, it is more appropriate to spend that money on things that occupancy tax money should be spent on. And I believe so. Other board members? Okay.
Okay, so that makes your hiccup in the resolution. Is it feasible to even come up with these figures for 23, 22, 21?
Yes.
Nicole, is it feasible to come up with these figures?
Unallocated occupancy tax funds for those years are now fund balance.
So we need to change the resolution, otherwise we're putting down something that can't be done. We've got 25.
It's still
we've got
unallocated
24.
occupancy tax money.
But it's now part of our fund balance.
I think what he's referring to is that money that wasn't initially spent for the intended purpose when it was put through the budget. And then it ended up in general fund. I think that that's where the concept of that statement came from. And, whether or not they exist in a special, which is what I've been trying to get is, that money at the end of the year being put into a separate account so that we actually know how much money we have not spent. I think that that's what he's referring to, so that that money is somehow being utilized rather than going into the general fund. It is technically in the general fund, but it is in those separate New York class accounts so that we can know where that how much money we have in that area.
I'm understanding your theory behind it. What I'm not understanding is writing something that technically now can't be done. It's like a from this point on thing is what it should be, and not go back 5 years to try to figure out.
I do have another answer that will be more clear. $100,000 of occupancy tax was put in its separate budget line item. And that money is clearly occupancy tax money.
Right.
I suppose it's technically general fund, but it's labeled beautification. It's from occupancy tax. So we can use some of that money if the board would prefer to do it that way, if that's more clear.
So are you going to rewrite this?
Well, we haven't even discussed it. So we have to decide what we want to do. Please.
Before we touch that money, we'd have to look back at previous resolutions because that $100,000 that was put aside for beautification or whatever had a specific purpose. And I believe it was stated in the resolution when that was put aside that it was to be put aside for a major project like the skating rink or whatever. That wasn't just to be used towards anything. That's why that money was put into a specialized New York class account, as Laura said, because that money did have a purpose. The other money that hadn't been spent those years then becomes a part of general fund. So basically what Don's saying is we can say that we're going to spend this money out of the money that was that's in general fund that has been unallocated fund or occupancy tax, but that money was never set aside as occupancy tax money. It is now general fund.
I know that the Rhoda Morris Row money is in a separate account now, because that's the there's $206,000 in that, and that one had stipulations on it, but I think the beautification funds are purely for these types of things.
Again, we'd have to look at the resolution
Right.
because Roy put that aside, and that was originally put aside to be combined with Rhoda's money to be able to do a project like the skating rink. That's why that money was put aside, so it couldn't be spent on other things.
Well, if it was done by resolution, it can be undone by resolution. Yes, please, thank you. Correct, if it was done by resolution, it can be reversed by resolution as well. It's not a reserve account. So if we want to make a resolution to do it that way, that's acceptable to me, if that's what everyone would prefer.
I just don't understand why it has to say occupancy funds. If we have a fund balance at this point of like $900,000, why can't we just say it's taken out of fund balance? Why does it have to say occupancy tax and get us in some type of problem with New York State when it's not what it is?
See, I'm trying to prevent problems with New York State because I'm not sure that it is right that at the end of the year, we can just spend it on something that has nothing to do with what the occupancy tax money is spent on. So I'm not sure of the answer legally, like as far as what is appropriate. I think it's much more appropriate to spend it on what it was initially, what we received the money for. But I'm not sure of the legal answer. I've heard different things over the years, so it may have changed over the years. So I think it's appropriate. I think legally it's maybe better. I think there's several different reasons to do it that way, rather than just saying it's coming out of unappropriated fund balance.
You may be right, including the occupancy tax left over from 2025, because you're putting all these years in there, that you're gonna have to be able to back that with
Yeah.
figures if we're audited for a comptroller.
We do have some of the years, and we should have. That
Because it was
is
never-
information I'm optimistic that we will have, and we do have it for some years. We don't have it for every year, but yes, that's possible. I mean, doing it that way, I would say that just use the beautification money. Like that is clearly occupancy tax money. There's no question about it. At the same time, it's not that important either. So, but I do think it's more appropriate, and we should try to spend the money on what the town received the money to spend it on.
I'm not arguing there, it's the idea of coming up with these back.
No, I understand that.
years.
So we could just use the beautification. That's 100,000. That's clean.
If there's nothing there, and if there is something there, we have to go through everything and figure out what. You've got the files from Rhoda, what was in there, did she
Separate
circulate?
funds.
We're talking about two different
Separate
things. Yeah, there's 100,000.
Rhoda's already separated.
Okay, and that includes donations from everybody that donated. It's in with Rhoda's, right? It's not in the beautification.
Rhoda's has its own separate area.
Well, individuals donated money to that too, not just Rhoda. Rhoda did the most. She's a godsend.
That's Rhoda's money.
Yes.
Period. End of story. That's not including other people's donations.
Okay, so
Right, Nicole?
I didn't hear that.
Sorry, Rhoda, the RM donations on the New York class is purely the 200,000 donated by Rhoda Morris Row
Right.
plus interest accrued, right?
Right.
Great.
The other donations were put in the beautification account?
Correct.
Great. Well, there's 100,000 from the town, and this is not going to cost 100,000.
no, I'm not saying you don't have the money there. And that you shouldn't do this. What I'm saying is the way this is written, it's opening me up a mess.
Susie, do you have a suggestion?
Yes,
change the language from unallocated occupancy tax funds to beautification fund or whatever the hell the fund is.
Easy enough.
I'm so done.
If the donations for the skating rink were put into the beautification funds, to me, it doesn't seem ethical to take money people donated for something and putting it to somewhere else.
But it won't be, because I'm sorry, you just had the number out. So the town put in 100,000. The town received some donations. Between the donations and the interest, it's now 122,000. So, yeah, it would certainly be better if those other donations were put in the other account, but they weren't. But we're not taking from those donations. We're not draining this account to zero. We're taking, possibly a quarter of it. I don't know. Beautification / occupancy tax money put to spend on the Parks Department, which is legally correct.
Yeah, you have stuff that is for beautification.
So should we just change it to beautification? I think I'm certainly in favor of that. Laura?
That
Okay.
sounds good to me.
Unallocated.
Beautification.
Money.
And if necessary, with funds from the town's beautification line item spent. And if necessary, with funds from the town's beautification line item.
Okay, you can just write it up and get it to me, in all your legal words.
Okay, roll call vote, unless anyone has anything else to say.
I'm just gonna make one last thing. I still don't understand why we're not just taking it out of general fund. And now we're gonna take this money out of beautification. So then when we need it in a few years for something out of beautification, now we gotta go through a whole nother thing and try to switch money back out of general fund into the beautification or whatever, rather than just taking it out of general fund where we have money and purchase this equipment. Why it's gotta be such an ordeal?
It's an
That's my
ordeal
thing.
because you are making it an ordeal.
All right,
And why
sounds
we're
good.
doing it this way is.
Sounds good, Tim.
Why we're doing it this way, I feel I've previously explained why this is the way this should be done.
Sounds good, Tim.
Okay, so roll call vote.
Hannah,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes,
Hold
Darren,
on.
Absolutely not.
Hold on.
Okay.
We didn't put, are we picking a leaf vacuum, or are we
You're right,
setting a
thank you.
dollar amount?
thank you.
I
It
think-
sounds like,
That's an outlier here.
thank you very much.
Yep.
I really appreciate that. I think it sounds like we should choose the one that's $8,000 less. Unless anyone,
If the lifespans are similar, that's what makes sense to me.
okay, I'm gonna need copies of those bids too. I didn't get any in my box.
so what's the number on that bid?
Right, I will read it out loud. It is Taylor Equipment Rental. It is for a SCAG loader, 37 horsepower Kohler gas, with a Sourcewell discount, and that is $13,615. And that includes a 2-year commercial warranty.
650?
615.
Okay, so I'm adding that number to the resolution.
Not gonna add a cushion. Right? Just says not more than.
Yes, but what's the issue with that? Okay.
Just seems very precise.
Probably accept the bid from Taylor would be a better,
Well, this is,
yeah.
okay, thank you for pointing that out, so we'll restart the roll call vote, I believe.
Okay, Hannah,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Darren,
No.
Laura,
Yes.
Randy.
Yes.
Agenda item 10. Whereas it is 7:57, I propose skipping agenda item 10. Unless anyone totally objects. Okay. Routine payment, agenda item 11, routine payments and transfers. May I have a motion to approve the vouchers and routine payments and transfers?
Make it.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Okay, public comments,
May I just?
please. Yes.
It was brought to my attention that there is some comments in the comment area on the web thing,
Okay.
just in,
Let's check it.
yeah, no, I just wanted to point that.
Charlie, please.
Just curious.
Yep.
The one you just did. Are you doing just the vacuum or are you doing the truck off?
This resolution, possibly I should have read the resolution, but the resolution instructs the park superintendent to get quotes and bring them to the work session meeting. But the other things, the gazebo, it approves him repairing the gazebo. Everything we talked about is
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's not gonna wipe everything out. It needs to be done.
Let's scroll to the bottom.
okay. Other members of the public. Okay,
I had a question for you then.
okay.
Have we already hired a new employee for the town of Wilmington?
No.
I've heard that we have an employee that is now cleaning the town offices, and that was something that Ashton used to do. When did this employee get hired? Yeah, but when did we rehire him back for this? He'd been laid off in November and hasn't worked since, so I didn't know that this person has been rehired.
If you would like to make a resolution, we can certainly do that.
Make a resolution for what? I'm just asking a question.
Well, I know, to approve hiring Casey to work 1 day a week cleaning.
But he's already hired.
But he's. Okay. Yes, and that is definitely, I suspect that was probably an oversight on my part, and we should have made a resolution authorizing this. Due to the fact that he was previously a park superintendent employee, and we planned on hiring him this summer, it didn't trigger in my mind that we should do a formal resolution authorizing him being hired to clean. But if that's what the board wants to do, if that's what would be appropriate, I think we should do it. So,
I'm sorry, I thought he was hired for, I didn't know it was only for a year thing. I thought it was for.
It was a part-time seasonal. He got laid off in like October or November.
I thought he was hired for his like first spring and summer work. I thought that was what he was hired for when he was hired. I didn't realize it was just for a year, so I didn't.
It wasn't for a year. It was literally last summer we hired him, and then I don't know, his employment was terminated sometime last fall. I'm asking why he came back and none of us knew about it.
I didn't know that it was only for that season. I thought that he was just, only going to be here. When we did the resolution, or when we were talking about him being hired, I thought it was for like, that would be our seasonal guy, like.
Right, but I'm still curious why we have.
Darren, no one is trying to hide anything or do anything
Tim, it's
wrong.
a question. Am I a board member?
I've already answered it, and I'll answer it again. It was an oversight on my part.
So why do we need this employee to clean when we've had somebody cleaning the town hall the whole time? It's not that busy yet.
Nobody has.
Well, that's what Ashton, when his job was created, that was one of the things that he was supposed to be doing.
That's all well and good, but we've had several conversations about how our Parks Department is stretched thin. We just authorized the expenditure of $14,000 to help with their labor because they're stretched thin. I don't think it's any secret that they're stretched thin. And so, and you are the one who said, why are we adding more to John's plate? So we're trying to take something off of Ashton's plate. This is their busiest time of the year. I'm sure it was probably procedurally incorrect to do this without a resolution authorizing it. No one was trying to hide anything or do anything inappropriate. We were just trying to get the cleaning done. And I should have, I guess I should have had a resolution to do that. And we certainly could have done that tonight or previously had you asked me to do that, and I'm happy to do it now. So I'll make a motion to hire Casey Santo to clean 1 day a week. Is there a second?
I have one thing to say.
Okay.
Well,
we should have the
Yeah,
motion on the
okay.
floor and then there's no second. Is there a second?
What's the salary?
I believe it's under 20, but I'm not positive. It could be slightly above 20. I don't know the exact answer to that question. It's around 20 and quite possibly a little more. Nicole, do you know what Casey's hourly wage is?
He was making, I believe, 20 when he was here last summer.
Thank you. Do you feel that a sufficient answer, Hannah?
Yes, thank you.
Do we have a second for this resolution?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Further discussion?
I don't remember us doing this with Chip. When Chip would come back year after year. I don't remember us making resolutions to hire him back seasonally, which is why it wasn't on my radar for when someone mentioned that Casey had cleaned the town. I think you mentioned it.
I mentioned it. When I said the machine isn't working,
Yes,
he moved
yes.
into vacuum.
Yes, that's why I didn't, and that was today, this morning.
Yeah.
So it didn't register to me, and I don't understand if, maybe I'm incorrect. Maybe it was done for Chip, but I don't remember it being done for Chip, and they're both seasonal employees.
I think it was done for Chip along with whoever else was working when they were bringing him back, when they did the resolution to bring on the summer help.
I don't remember doing a resolution for that.
Seems to me that we've always stated when they were starting. I don't know. It could have gotten missed too and just went on from there. Anyway, it was a mistake, so mistakes happen. So let's just vote on it and get it done.
Is he only gonna be hired for the 1 day, or is this gonna, like,
Well, I suppose we should discuss that. Because I was with you, but I thought that the board had previously okayed him being hired. So that, like I said, it didn't register with me that we should go through this process again for him. I don't know whether he's working other days. I think I did see him working 1 day, but I'm not totally positive. So.
I don't think we should put an hourly, I mean, I think we should, I think they're, I don't know. I think it sounds so specific.
What are we doing? Are we bringing him
We're
back?
discussing it, though.
No. Are we bringing him back so these?
We haven't made a
parks
decision.
again?
We're discussing it.
Okay.
Why don't we just put seasonal employee as needed by the Parks Department,
I like it.
rehire
Thank you.
Casey.
DeSanto, current at $20 an hour, you know, then again, everyone else got a 6% raise, so maybe he should as well. But we can do 20 for now, and maybe revisit that topic.
Those wages were stated at the 2026 budget hearings and they're listed in there.
For
With
Parks
summer-
labor,
Oh, yes.
good point. Yep, good point.
And is he just cleaning the town hall for 8 hours?
That's what the resolution as on the resolution we're currently discussing is, I mean, we're getting to the point where the Parks Department will certainly need him. If so, the resolution on the floor is as needed by the Parks Department.
Mm-hmm. But we've set aside a certain amount of hours. And when we did the budget, which you and Laura were both there, we set an amount of hours from like
Not to-
April or May through October. And now we're hiring from who knows, and we're not even putting hours on it. We're basically just saying, I don't even know how much he works. Let's
Boy,
just
I
hire
wish
him.
you had exercised this level of rigorous oversight for the last administration.
No, I had you for that.
Yeah, touche is right. So you would, how would you prefer to go forward with this?
If you guys want to hire him, we do a vote. You know where I stand.
Who's setting his hours, the Parks Department?
Yes.
Unbelievable.
Okay, so it's gonna be seasonal employees to be used as needed by parks?
Well, it's just Casey Santo shall be hired as a seasonal employee
For
with his hours.
2026.
Are you not taking public comment? Could I just ask one simple question?
Can we just vote on this first, or
Oh, sure, yep. Yep.
is this germane to what we're talking about?
No, it is, yeah.
Okay,
I'm just curious, how many hours did you budget for him to work? That would dictate whether he starts now or starts in April, May.
thank you.
I think he was a 40-hour-a-week employee.
I think so too, but I'm not positive.
Nicole, was Casey 40 hours? Nicole left.
No, she's still
She's right here.
she's thinking.
I got it. I've got it, the spreadsheet.
We
here.
switched it around a few times in budget season. I don't remember what we put.
We can figure that
And
out.
we have, it looks like it says 20 weeks at 40 hours a week. So conceivably, we may have to decrease his hours at some point in the future. We don't even, we're going through all of this and I'm not even, but since we have to do it at some point anyway, we might as well do it now.
That's $21.
Correct. Yes, and it is 21, yes.
For this year, not last year. Yeah, last year was 20 or whatever.
This is for 2026 budget.
Okay, are you guys ready to vote, or?
Do you have everything? 21 an hour
Yeah,
as determined by the park
Seasonal.
superintendent? Yep.
seasonal employee to be used as needed by parks. Okay, Hannah,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Darren,
No.
Laura,
Yes.
Randy.
Yes.
Pass.
Make a motion to go into executive session.
Okay.
Okay, I repeat again that I'm turning the tape off. Nothing will be decided. And if there is something decided, it'll be in the minutes.
Thank you all for coming. Thanks, Herb. Lisa.